Did you know? In 2014, a massive passenger jet carrying hundreds of people vanished, as if it had been erased from the map of the world. No distress call, no clear explosion, no final message asking for help, just silence. The flight departed from Kuala Lumpur to Beijing, a routine route. Ordinary passengers, some were flying home, some were heading to work. Some were planning to reunite with family. Inside the cabin, the lights were dim. The engines hummed steadily. A few people were already asleep. Others were watching movies or scrolling through messages. In the cockpit, the pilots calmly guided the aircraft along its planned path. All instruments appeared normal. Communication with air traffic control was stable. The controller said, "Malaysia 370, good night." The pilot replied, "Good night." "Malaysian 370, it was a standard exchange. No panic, no sign of trouble. Those were the last confirmed words from the aircraft. Shortly after, the plane disappeared from civilian radar. There was no visible explosion. No dramatic crash caught on camera, just a sudden absence, as if someone had switched off a light in a dark room and closed the door. No distress signal was transmitted. No emergency was declared. The aircraft simply stopped responding. Later, information emerged suggesting that the plane may have changed course. It may have turned away from its planned route, not toward the nearest airport, not toward the lights of a city, but toward vast stretches of darkness over the ocean. If that is true, one question becomes unavoidable. Who made that decision? Was it the autopilot? A system malfunction? The crew? Or something intentional? Inside the cabin, life likely continued as normal for a time. A passenger might have quietly asked, "How much longer until we land?" A flight attendant could have answered, with a polite smile, "A few more hours, try to get some rest." Someone adjusted a blanket over a sleeping child. Someone typed a message. Landing in the morning, no one knew that within hours the world would be searching for them across an endless ocean when the plane failed to arrive. In Beijing, at first it seemed like a delay, then a technical issue. Soon, concern turned into alarm. Phones went unanswered. Information was scarce. Families gathered at the airport. "Please tell us, honestly, could it have landed somewhere? We are investigating all possibilities." What possibilities? All possible scenarios. In that phrase, there was more uncertainty than reassurance. A massive international search began. Multiple countries joined the operation. Aircraft scanned the skies, ships combed the ocean, satellites analyzed faint signals. Millions of dollars were spent, days turned into weeks, and still there was no clear answer. Satellite data later suggested that the aircraft may have continued, flying for several hours after disappearing from radar. That meant it did not fall immediately. It kept going somewhere. If the plane remained airborne that long, what was happening inside? Did the crew understand the situation? Were the passengers aware that something was wrong? Or did events unfold suddenly and silently? Over time, debris believed to be from the aircraft washed up on distant shores. Fragments of wing components, pieces of structure, evidence that something tragic had occurred far from land. But debris is not an explanation. It is only proof that the story ended somewhere in the vastness of the ocean. The theories multiplied. One suggests sudden depressurization and loss of consciousness. Another points to complex technical failures. A third considers the possibility of deliberate action. Each theory sounds plausible, yet each leaves gaps. No version provides a complete, undeniable picture. There is still no confirmed location of the final resting place. Investigators reviewed the data again and again. If this were a typical accident, we would have found more. The ocean hides many things, but the silence is too complete. Sometimes the absence of a signal is more disturbing than a distress call. This story became a symbol of vulnerability in the modern world. We tend to believe that everything is tracked, cameras, sensors, satellites, that in an age of advanced technology, an aircraft cannot simply disappear. Yet one flight proved otherwise. Where was the final minute of its journey? What truly happened inside the cockpit? Was there a moment when something could have been changed? Definitive answers have never been fully delivered. The most unsettling part of this story is not only the tragedy itself, but the uncertainty that remains. A world capable of observing the smallest details from space could not say with absolute certainty how and where this flight ended. And until the final truth is known, it feels as though somewhere in the darkness of the ocean, the last chapter of this story remains unwritten.